I'm cautiously optimistic. We have some, we have some very good seniors on our roster that, all state returning type kind of football players, and we got some good young kids that have stepped in, and we have a whole stable of running backs that are replacing the outstanding running backs that we graduated. We have a few receivers and a couple tight ends that we're looking at. Defensively, really is my concern. We got a lot of holes to fill, a lot of talent graduated, but we got some good young kids that are stepping up.
Last season, you're the number one seed. You get upset in the state quarterfinals. How much has that driven you and the guys as you get ready for the season?
Oh, it is definitely a motivating factor. That is something that was very disappointing at the end of last year, and we came up short that day. And I strongly believe to this day, sitting in front of you, that it was one of those things where we were looking past our opponent to Estacada, who we played at the very beginning of the season, who was having a great run. They played here on our field the night before and beat Henley in a very close game, and we were looking at that game. We were looking to that game, and staff and players alike, and Scappoose came and got us. They came here and they let us know right off the bat that they were not to be overlooked, and we did. We overlooked them, and they got us in overtime.
To be frank, it was a lack of discipline last year. So it's like it's just a drive to be more disciplined. So that's really it.
It's just been another driving factor, giving us more motivation, keeping us disciplined, and keeping us hungry throughout the whole day.
So, going off of that, to what extent would you say that this season is about redemption?
Oh, I don't know if it's about redemption. I'm not that kind of guy. When we here at Mazama, we're do things the right way. We didn't do things the right way at the end of the year last year, and that was looking past and not focusing on our opponent. And that's what we're doing this year, 1 week at a time. Our motto this year is going to be 1-0 every week, 1-0, 1-0. That week's gone, next week comes up, and we're not looking ahead. And that's what our focus is going to be, and that's what it should be.
It all falls back to discipline, in my opinion. That's all it is, just discipline and wanting to get better.
Yeah, we have a lot to prove ourselves. We lost a lot of good people last year. Many new people are stepping into new spots. We got a lot of leadership going on this year, and everybody has a chance to prove themselves back this year.
You lost 5 all-state players to graduation. How has it been trying to replace that much talent?
We lose 5 all-state players every year. I mean, not to be sound arrogant or anything else like that, but we're one of the top football teams in the state. We have great football players here. So with that though, we have good talent waiting for their opportunity. They're grinding, and they're in the weight room. They're doing the things that they need to do to be themselves all-state football players. I have 5 more all-state football players out there. I got 2 more that are returning right now, and we have great football players here at Mazama, and it's yet to be seen who's going to rise up, but there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to have those kids step up and fill those shoes.
So, all in all, what's it going to take for you to be able to look back in November and say, we had a great season?
We have 3 goals every year. The first one is to win the Canal Bowl. The second one is to be the Skyline, which is now the Big Sky Conference champs, and the third one is to be the state champs. In that order, and when we do those 3 things, we've had an outstanding year. If we do 2 of those things, we've had a good year, and I'm proud of that year. I'm proud of those boys from last year. I don't want anybody to think that just because we got beat in the second round. We won our 9th conference championship last year. We were a state playoff team, and believe me, there was 30 plus or 20 some other teams that wish they would have been in the second round of the state playoffs. So I'm very proud of that team. And the thing is now though, everybody's measuring our success on conference championships and state titles or state playoffs runs. And I'm proud of that we've built that, but that's not always been the case here. And so I'll let the people on the community measure our success. But I already feel good about this group, and I know we're going to be winners.
I like to see the game of football, and not just the game of football, this program, as a family, right? It's trust. Like, you got to trust the person next to you, the person behind you, the person in front of you to be doing their job, so you got to do your job. So all in all, it's just, if everyone did their job to the best of their ability, that's a great season right there.
Staying disciplined throughout the whole season, keeping the energy high, especially throughout all the practices. It sucks if you have a lousy day. You look back on that and you don't feel good about the last day, but we want to keep the energy high, keep moving through practice and day to day, and stay focused and focus on our jobs and do what we need to do.
Which of your players do you think are poised to have a breakout season?
Oh man, there's a number, to be honest with you. I'm going to start on defense, because that's where we put a lot of work in right now, and I believe that that's where we're going to see some incredible play that we're hoping to see. And the first one is Gunnar Mahone. He was injured a year ago at football camp before the season, and he didn't play last year, his junior year. And he was able to run track this last spring, and he's got great speed. He's going to be a great lockdown corner for us, which we really need. And then on the other side of him is going to be Juan Gonzalez, and he's also, Rodriguez, and he is going to be also another corner. And they're both sprinters on our track team, and got great speed. So we look for great things from both of those guys. Up front, Jack Kiefering, no doubt about it. Middle linebacker, junior, kid, 6 foot, 215 pounds, and he's just an animal. One of the rare juniors that have been voted a team captain going in. He's just going to have an outstanding year. Seth McLean at Sam Backer, outside linebacker. He started for us last year. He was an all-conference kid. He's returning, and I look for big things for him on defense. And then, of course, my big three, who also start on the offensive line. You got Ryan Murdoch, who's about 6'3", 6'4", 295. Mondo Galindo, who's about 6'2", about 275, 280. And then Zach Atmadanata. It's hard to say his name, of course. And he's about 5'11", 250, 260. And those three D linemen are going to flat get after it. So all of those guys are primed defensively to have, a great night on Friday nights. Offensively, Kai Hunt at split end. He's a junior, and he's filling some big shoes at split end, but he's a magnificent. He's a game changer. He's outstanding. At tight end, Ryan Hayden, 6'4", about 195, 200 pounds, and he goes up and gets the ball, and he's a good blocker and gets after it offensively. And then in the backfield, we got Bodie Norlock at our fullback, short, stocky. He's probably about 5'10", 205, and he's going to be a load. And then at halfbacks, we have Tristan Leach, who's about 6 foot, 195, 200, and then Lobdell Devin Lobdell at the other halfback, and he's taller. He's about 6'1", but he's not very heavy. He's probably about 165, 170 pounds, but he's got great hands. He runs well. He blocks well, and all of those guys are going to have breakout seasons. And our offensive line, those same three defensive linemen I talked to you about, Ryan Murdoch, Zach Adamada, and Mondo Galindo. Those guys are going to be tough. But leading the way is going to be Tyson Van Gastel. There's no doubt about it. He is our guy. He is by far, in a way, 26 years coaching high school football. He is the best quarterback that I've coached in my system, hands down. He is the leader. They all look to him, and you want to talk about breakout years. This is his year, and he knows it.
I've worked a lot in the offseason, throwing the ball a lot more. Even though we don't do it a lot around here, as you can tell, we run the ball 99% of the time. But I'm definitely more confident throwing the ball, throwing the long ball, and I think we have a good chance running and passing this year.
Now, when I was talking with Tyson and Armando, I noticed that they both did wrestling, and Armando was saying that a lot of the guys on the football team do wrestling, even the skill position guys, and that's That's not something that you usually see, at least not that I've seen. So is that something that you encourage?
Absolutely. I love wrestling. I was a wrestler in high school myself, and my defensive coordinator now is our head wrestling coach. He was my head JV coach. He's been promoted to the defensive coordinator, and I absolutely promote that. And if a young man isn't going to play basketball, and it's tough to get on the court, starting five and everything else, that whole situation. But there's 13 guys, 14 wrestling weight classes that these guys can get into and wrestle and make themselves better. So we totally promote that, and it showed. Our wrestling program has gotten extremely strong over the years. Coach Penrod's done an outstanding job, and it keeps those guys in shape. And I'm a firm believer, and it makes football players better tacklers when they wrestle. They're stronger. Their grip strength is stronger. Their agility. They be able to take a kid down. That's what wrestling's all about, and we love that in football. So yes, I would say a good 75 to 80% of my football team are wrestlers, and it helps us defensively.
It helps your open field tackling, getting low, having good leverage against other people, and ultimately just strength all around offense and defense, and getting in the right position and being able to tackle people that are bigger than you.
As a lineman, right, we're going yes, it's a team sport, but as a lineman, it's a one-on-one. Wrestling it shows like you're going one-on-one with a guy that's trying to have you submit. That's really it. It's the same as it is. So it's like it builds the aggression. It builds competitiveness to not want to lose. So it builds like the strength that you need in order to get a hold of someone and manhandle them. So that's really it.
I know Tyson wrestles too, and that really interested me because that's not something that you usually see skill guys doing. It's more linemen like you were saying. So how's that been? What's he like out there?
I like how you mentioned that too. So most of our skill guys, like first string and second string, we've all wrestled. And like I was saying, it builds an aggression. So whenever, no doubt in my mind that we're going to come out there wanting some aggression. So that's so with Tyson too, I mean, he's a quarterback, but he's also on defense. And some of the things I've seen that guy do, it shows.